Hello. So most of the students that I had that were of my L's in my geometry classes, we had one that that you helped me out a ton with was Marissa or Marissa, excuse me. She was placed in the wrong class to begin with. Her initial scores, I mean, her conversational stuff it was always really good, but when it came down to the technical stuff, when she was talking in class or reading about the textbook or working through the geometry stuff, you can tell that she was struggling a lot, and it just took us a while to get her into a supported class. And I know that she's doing better in the supported class as of right now. After her, we have a couple other kids that were also L's. Giselle, she does great. She's always been really nice, strong advocate for herself. I know that she'll ask questions of her friend that sits next to her a lot, and they talk to each other in Spanish, and just to get the reassurance of that she was doing something correctly. In my own broken Espanol, I pick up on a couple things that she's asking, and then I'll say, "Yeah, you're doing fine," just help her out and all that. Adrian, yeah, this kid, he does phenomenal in class. I think the fact that he's got such a high score, but when you look up his access stuff, it says that he's like a conversational. He's at a 2, so that's probably one of the reasons why he doesn't like to speak up a lot in class itself. But he does talk with me one-on-one when I wander around. Jefferson was another kid that is technically an L, but he was placed into the wrong class. He was supposed to be placed in Geometry AB, and he was placed into regular geometry, and we were able to get that schedule fixed up on him as well. Christian, he was another one of my L kids, but I couldn't find any extra data on him. I know he does really well in class, and he's just a really, really chatty catty, shall we say. And then Abdullah, this kid's a clown. He's great. His family's so supportive of everything. I know he's technically an L, but he's probably going to run the world at some point in time in his life. And Manny, another one of those kids that I didn't know that he was L. He's phenomenal. He's one of the track star kids. Does everything the best he can. Always asks questions. Advocates for himself. For really like any good student should. When I met his folks at conferences and stuff like that, Manny was surprised that he was doing so well in class, because he said he doesn't like to look up his grades. So I've had no problem with that either. And then we get to the DHS stuff. I know that all of us got together and we've been working on this document with our advocacy plans and stuff. So I'm sure the other guys will talk about that here in a little bit. And then I had some other ideas as far as what we can do. What I was thinking of is obviously introduce the new hires, explain to them what the L's go through in their daily, like a daily class, what it's like to be a kid that understands broken English going into school. Do a school-wide institute day about, how do you read the access scores? What does it mean? How do you work with them in the different levels in your classrooms? How do you get Galed to become 4 Gales and help out more and more? How do we get the information into Skyward if possible, so it's all in one spot for us to look for? It'd be so much easier. And then obviously, since I know how to do these things by looking up the stuff, I can work with my department. Then I can help myself to get my profiles ready to go for the beginning of the school years and stuff. Let's see, differentiate. We did that. Oh, sorry. Advocacy. Excuse me. I just did that one. Oh, hold on. It was the differentiation one I was looking for. I accidentally X'd it out. So as far as the differentiation plan goes, I cannot. The fact that we found this info from the internet from New Jersey just helps out so much. Everything's broken down per objective and all of that for all of the scaffolding, for all of the geometry in each unit in terms of Common Core. This couldn't have been any easier for us to look up and be able to use. So being able to use something that's already there and modify it out to help out within the classes is going to be tremendous. I think that our ELL classes will be able to use this as well to help them to go through. So I'll get with that with Bethany also. But then I had the goals for that was to be able to constantly reword, and that doesn't just help your L's, it's going to help really any kid that has problems with vocabulary, and geometry is just one of those big vocab heavy types of classes. Explain to students how they go about solving the problems in a better way. Allow them to explain. Have them write it out or orally talk about how you would prove something instead of having to write it down. because I know in geometry proofs suck. Nobody likes them, but yet you have to know how to construct a valid argument to show your point at some point in time. So I went through a whole bunch of these things, and I know like the next year I really want to flip my classroom, and that way in class the kids are doing their homework, whereas at home they were watching a 15-20 minute lesson. And so when they get into class, I'll be able to group them into different levels, and I can work with the really high level kids can get pushed, and then I can spend extra time with the lower level kids that need that little extra help, or the reteaching of algebra concepts that they're reusing now in geometry, where then I can push like the upper level kid to go even further into a problem. Excuse me, and then have kids present their own lessons. I did this a long time ago, and I kind of strayed from it because we started getting such large classes, and it was just really hard to divvy up classes in an even sense to have kids do presentations a little bit more. So I want to get back to that. That way, if a kid's making a lesson, a kid's drawing and coming up with ideas of ways that they think something is important, then they're going to believe in it more so than just me standing up there saying, this is a circle, it is round, because that just gets boring. So, but all in all, I think the class was awesome. I had a lot of fun with it. Sorry I'm not there with you guys today. I'm at Wrigley, so, could be worse things to do. So you guys all have a great day, and we'll see y'all soon. See ya.